Howdy. How you going? We are back with some emergency vehicle action. This time is going to be a big compilation over the course of a couple years from South Australia. Really excited about this one. This comes to us from a channel called South Australian Emergency Services Photography. So it looks like an awesome channel. Make sure to check them out. So it'll be linked in the description down below. It's a really long video. We're only going to look at a couple clips. So you can watch that whole video uninterrupted and definitely browse their channel. And this was suggested a month or two ago on Discord by Jake Martin. So thank you for that. And this was in response to a video I did about a month or two ago that did really well on New South Wales emergency vehicles in Australia. The great variety that they had, because Australia is just known for that, especially even emergency vehicles. They have a big variety. They have some vehicles that kind of remind me of what we would have similar here in the U.S. Then, of course, they have a lot of Europe-style vehicles. They have, like, Japanese brands. They kind of have everything, right? It's really cool to watch for me. And I'm kind of an emergency vehicles nerd, you know, police car nerd. Like, it's cool seeing the different color schemes, the different light packages, sirens, you name it. So let's check it out and see what we run into. Alrighty, let's go. Look at that. Oh my God, that police car has, like, I don't know what the official name for that is. Like those signs that have, like, the messages on them. That's pretty cool, actually. It's a Holy Commodore, I believe, right? Looks sharp with that South Australian police livery on there and the red and blues. Oh, see, right away we get into some cool vehicles here with the ute up front. And let's see what these fire trucks are. Oh, they're a Zuzu or a Suzu. That is, or we saw a lot of those in the New South Wales video as well. They're really cool. And I remember reading some comments of people saying that the way they're kitted out is very impressive, right? And they do a great job. Yeah, it's kind of unique to them because you don't see those. Well, I don't think I've ever really seen these Isuzu units in many other countries at all, right? So it's pretty cool to see. And we do have like Isuzu box trucks and things in the U.S., but you don't see them as, I guess, utility like government vehicles like this, at least not that I know of. Even this Mitsubishi Ute is pretty cool. It's not part of the video. It's not part of like the emergency trucks, but it's kind of cool to see regardless. The bed's a little small though. I will say that. That bed doesn't look like it fits a lot. More of a casual ute, if you will. And there's another look at a Holden police unit with a slightly different, more kind of updated livery, I'd say, as well as it looks like this is a newer model. I think it says Commodore there, right? Interesting, real quick, the man mentioned, this is something that I forgot about. I think I reacted to a video ages ago, literally I think 2 years ago. And it was about, what we would call nopales or, cactus, right? There's lots and lots of different cacti. But you can see it right here in the background. That would be like either prickly pear or I can't remember the other name of a species that's similar. But anyway, generically, we just call them nopales because it's nopales in Spanish, this kind. And, those are all over, like the southwestern U.S. and, of course, Mexico. And they weren't really native to Australia, but they got introduced there and kind of got out of control. So it's kind of funny to see we are in the South Australian, I don't know, like kind of desert, I guess. And look at this. There's nopales in Australia. Pretty funny to see. I didn't expect to see that. You can always leave it to me to notice random stuff like that. Anywho, look at this. Virginia CFS, Virginia Tanker. Interesting. The white with the checkerboard's, pretty cool. I didn't catch what kind of truck it was. I think sounds cool, though. That engine sounds nice. I don't know if you would just call this, like, brush area or, desert. But it's kind of dusty regardless. And some of these don't have audio, so just keep that in mind. I can't really control that. That's not on my end. And there's a look at them at night. It's always cool to see them at night because you see those immense lighting and strobe patterns, right? Of course, they're using red and blues. I always try to notice that. They're using red and blues, so that's very... red, blues, and whites, I should say. So that's very familiar to me, right? Because that's what, 95+% of American agencies would use as well. Even this unmarked Jeep Grand Cherokee, look at that. It looks sharp. You would never guess if the lights weren't on. I mean, that's just a good-looking Grand Cherokee with the black, the little bit of chrome, the black SA plate. That's sharp. That is sharp. But, of course, the undercover lights, that's cool. Even this is a cool police car right here. It's so dark. I think that's a Holden as well. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. It's dark. And look at this fleet. Now we have red trucks. These are Scanias. Wow. Oh, how cool. I've gotten to the point where I think I know a Scania when I see one. They're just so amazing. I love them. I really wish these were like, all over the U.S. I just think they're cool. Damn, look at that one. What a beast. Wow. It said SA Metropolitan Fire. Look at the hills in the background. That's cool. South Australia always seems interesting to me. It really does. Adelaide seems really cool. It seems like it's slept on, like it's not nearly as big as Melbourne and Sydney and even Brisbane and Perth. I feel like it talked about more. Yeah, Adelaide and South Australia look pretty cool though. Of course the Euro style ambulances like this. Hell, these are even seriously like super common now in the US. These are replacing our bigger truck-based like heavy-duty, Ram 3500s and Ford F450s. Those used to be our ambulances, and now they've, not all the way, but mostly been replaced by these. Ooh, that is loud. That is loud. It is an ambulance. It should be. Cool color scheme on that one. And there you go. What is this? That was funny. I mean, that is cool. I think it's clearly like a, something part of a parade, right? Because, look, if I'm bleeding out and I need to go to the hospital, yeah, this is not the ambulance you want to show up. But, no, that is really neat, actually. And what is this? This is a night shot. Looks like an unmarked unit. Wow, I don't know what that was. Pretty cool. Okay, this is awesome. If you don't know, I am a huge Subaru fan. I always wanted one, and we got one last year as our family vehicle. That is so weird to see a Subaru Forester. Oh my God! It's part of the ambulance service, but to see it kitted out like that with the decals, the lights, and sirens, like what? We do not. Subarus are very popular in the U.S. Of course, for just regular people or citizens, but you won't find them as government vehicles. That is super bizarre. So let's wind it back. Look at that. Dude, that is awesome. Oh my God, that's so cool. I feel like they would make pretty good emergency vehicles depending on certain uses, I mean, they got some good cargo room. They look all right. They have the all-wheel drive, the really good all-wheel drive. They're usually pretty reliable. Really interesting, the variety. The variety you always find in Australia. It's really hard to match. Well, you can hear the noise, those tires. You can hear, like, the mass of that thing, right? It's always so cool to see. And always, like, I always say props to the drivers and the crews that are part of these, driving these things on a pretty constant basis, going fast and going through lights, watching out for traffic. It's got to be a crazy experience. I'm sure it's adrenaline filled sometimes. I'm sure it's also extremely stressful. So, because driving a big truck like that fast is totally different than driving, a little economy car fast or even a sports car, right? Totally different ball game. These Isuzu It's a Suzu. I always say a Zuzu, but I think it's a Suzu is more proper. These things are just cool, though. They really are awesome. I can see why they use them a lot. I've heard they just have a great reputation, and they're really neat. They look really heavy duty. There's one in action, right? You see the crew. You see the water flowing. And we even get some helicopter action. All right. That's something I have very seldom showed on the channel, but guess what? Another side of IWrocker most people don't know. I love aviation, man. Big fan of different planes, and helicopters are really neat. So now I'm not like I'd say I guess I'm a casual fan. I think helicopters and planes are cool. I have more room to grow as in like learning them. I'm pretty good with planes. I'm not as much of a, helicopter expert, so it's not like I can look at that and be like, oh, that's a so-and-so, right? Like, I'm not real good at that, so, yeah, admittedly, I don't know what kind of helicopter that is, or I'm not confident enough to guess, but it's cool. There's another look at the ambulance. Cool lighting package. It's interesting how they use these type of light bars, because almost always, at least in the US, and a lot of the Euro videos I've even seen, if you kind of just chop this in half, like this lower, like really thin light bar, right, where it's like clear and then it has the colored lights inside, that's what's common in my experience. I know this is like almost a modern version, but like this style where it's thicker with like the red, tint lenses and then the blue tint, like it's a little more old-fashioned. Now, it looks like it's a modern version of it that has that thinner LEDs like below it. But, yeah, this hasn't been really common in the U.S. in quite a while. I feel like over, like 15 years or so, or maybe at least 10. So that is interesting to see. But it's not like the straight-up old ones. It just looks like it, but it's got like modern lights, if that makes sense. It's kind of interesting. That was a cool police motorcycle as well. It's always fun to see like the different patterns, right? How they can go like insane like strobe mode, and then or they can just have like these static like wigwags like that. It's kind of cool. And there's a look at another police car. I like that this livery is actually really, really cool. So again, you have the thing up top that can have text on it, can have arrows. This is definitely a more modern light bar, or at least the style that I'd be used to seeing. So yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Of course, the Holdens look great dressed up as a police vehicle, in my opinion. I mean, look at that thing. It's really, really cool. I actually had an idea. I don't know if I'll ever get to do it, but if you don't know, I have an ex-cop car in real life. I have a old Madison, Wisconsin Police Department '06 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, and it's all black, they take all the decals off and stuff, so it's just a black one, but it still looks like a cop car, right? It still looks, it has that look, and the wheels, and the spotlight and all that. Anywho, I thought it'd be funny because obviously, like, duh, it's illegal to, like, copy police department. Like, I couldn't put my city's police department livery on there because that would be insane, right? It would look like a cop car again, and that's like illegal to impersonate a cop. But without saying the word police, because I wouldn't do that either, just for fun, and kind of like a advertisement for the channel, I guess you could say, I thought it'd be fun to take like a foreign livery, so that way, because this livery looks like nothing in the US, like our police liveries look different. I thought it'd be fun to take, like, for example, this one's really cool. Like, what if I took this police livery and had a vinyl wrap shop, like, they can make custom wraps. What if you wrapped my American police car like an Australian police car or something, and then, of course, took all the police words wherever that appears off and replaced it with something catchy, like somehow it's like an advertisement for like IWrocker YouTube channel, but it just kind of has this like flow to it. I think that'd be kind of cool because people would ask like, oh, what's that? I'd be like, oh, that's a South Australia police car, like it'd be kind of cool. So yeah, like this is one of my favorite ones. I know the New South Wales police with like the highlighter orange and the dark blue and the white look really cool as well. But yeah, this one, I'm digging it. It's kind of neat. And I just love looking at traffic too, like those utes, another Mitsubishi ute, and those ones with the flatbeds. I love them. Hazmat breathing apparatus, SA Metropolitan Fire Service, loaded up Scania. What a beaut with the yellow and black grill. Interesting. God, that thing is awesome. Those big old wheels. He saw how many times he had to crank the wheel inside. What a thrill that'd be to drive, though. And there's a final look at those Scanias. Really good video. I skipped around a lot. There is so much of this video that we did not see here. So make sure to check that original one out with the link down there. Great stuff. Great suggestion. I really appreciate that. In conclusion, what can I say? I mean, another great collection of emergency vehicles. Australia is really in a league of their own. They have so much. It's a huge country, like the U.S., and so therefore they just have so much different variety, different liveries, different lights. Of course, all the different makes and models and the different departments and stuff. It's really, really cool to see. So I enjoyed this a lot. I certainly hope you did as well. Please leave your awesome comments down below like you did on the last one. If you didn't miss that last one that I'm talking about that did really well, I'll leave that at the end of the video on the end screen so you can click that and watch that from New South Wales. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. That's about it for this one, y'all. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, catch you later.